My name is Dante Puleio, Artistic Director of Limón Dance Company.
I'm Maxine Sherman,
Hi,
and
Maxine.
I am the Artistic Director of Dance for RiverArts, which
Nice.
just means I'm responsible for trying to pick the perfect dance company to perform once a year for us. And we are very excited about picking Limon. And as Mary said, on such an auspicious 80th anniversary year.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it's exciting.
Hey, Dante.
um, we
Hi,
are
Mary.
happy.
Yeah, Maxine, you did a good job picking us. Good work.
That I think so.
My name is Dante Puleio. I'm the Artistic Director of Limón Dance Company. I came to Limón. I had studied it in college, and I was really drawn to the technique. I danced for a company called the Carolyn Dorfman Dance Company. And after my first year there, the Limon Company had an audition. I went to the audition just to kind of see where I was in the field. I came to dance late, so I didn't really know where I was in relationship to other people. So I went on the Sunday. It was a week-long callback. I couldn't go to the callback because I was dancing for Carolyn. Well, it just so happened that the Carolyn Dorfman Dance Company was performing at the Limon Studios on that Friday at the end of the auditions.
Oh.
We performed. After the performance, Carla Maxwell, who was the director then, came up to me and said, "Would you like to come in tomorrow and work together for a little bit?" And I was like, "Sure," having no idea what was in store. She taught me one of the Misa Breva solos for about 20 minutes. And then at minute 21, she asked me if I'd like to join the company.
Oh, goodness. Private audition.
It was wild. I was not expecting it was such a great moment. Really wonderful career with the company. I got to dance with Mary in those early days. I left, I did some film and musical theater. I came back. And then in about 2014, 2015, I was turning 40. I was figuring what was next for my life. I knew that there was some untapped potential that I wanted to figure out what that was for myself. I went back to grad school. That degree was, my thesis was about contextualizing mid-century modern dance for the contemporary audience. I did this research. My mentor was like, "What do you want to do your paper on?" I was like, the most academic thing I've written was in my boyfriend saying, "Please clean the bathroom." So I was not ready to write a thesis, but she just asked me what I wanted to write about. And I was like, well, this is what my interest is. I want to figure out how to make modern dance cool for today's audience. How do I do that? I didn't know that I was going to become a director with that writing, but
Thank you so much.
it paved my way.
So, Mary, how about you?
Oh, this is very interesting. Dante, I think we had a conversation about Carolyn Dorfman because I was in Carolyn's company
Right.
before you.
Yeah.
Um, I did not go to a conservatory, so I had a very circuitous route after college coming to New York and knowing I wanted to dance. I'd done a lot of dance growing up, of course, but never Limon. And through Carolyn's company, I met people like Colin Connor, Fred Matthews, because that was the technique that Carolyn really mostly aligned herself with. And through that, I ended up taking class. I wasn't really familiar with Limon, and I remember taking Risa Steinberg's class and doing like a fall and rebound something. I think I hurt my neck even, but I was like, oh my gosh, I can let go and I will come back again. There you go, fall and rebound. I found my rebound a little bit. And it was kind of from there, I was kind of sold on this exploration of the relationship between gravity,
Hmm.
yielding to gravity, controlling gravity, resisting it, and all of the human experience that I could find in it. Because what drew me to dance, one of the things was the physical feeling, of course, but always since I was a child was this inner life and emotional world, that kept drawing me back to modern dance. So anyway, I was in Carlin's company for 3 years. Through that, I then auditioned eventually. I was taking Limon classes. Did not make it the first time, but I made it the second time. We know it's harder to get in as a woman, of course. Um, I think I auditioned with a solo from Choreographic Offering and also something from Isadora's Dances. But I was in my 30s then. And so I was invited at that point to join the company.
Hmm. So I wanted to just, Dante, if you could just speak a little bit about the repertory and why you chose the four pieces that are coming to the Tarrytown Music Hall.
Yeah. Well, these works were built first, and then the technique was built after to support getting into the work. And, these works were born out of, an opposition to ballet. We were no longer trying to defy gravity. We were trying to exploit it. Jose talks about using the gravity to highlight what it is to jump. Like the effort is the beautiful part. And I think that's such a fascinating perspective to come into, thinking about what concert dance was about, like design and shading and presentation. And then all of a sudden it was about like people, like real people experiencing things and no longer about like ghosts and fairies and farm animals. And not that there's a hierarchy between the two, both exist and there's beauty in all of it. But another side of the conversation needed to happen. And that's what, that's where modern dance is coming from. When I bring works to an audience, I want them to get this well-rounded understanding of who Jose was, why he made the works he did, and where it came from. So whenever I can, I like to include a work by Doris Humphrey. You will see two ecstatic themes in this program. And that is the moment. That's one of Doris Humphrey's first solos where she's exploring this idea of fall and recovery. So you have this whole idea of her reaching, then all of a sudden she just falls and then recovers. And then she falls a little bit deeper. And it's the main principle of this work. And it also sets the stage for so much of the contemporary dance we have today. Counterbalance, this idea of floor work, releasing through the joints. That all started right with Doris in that first moment. So I love giving the audience that like entry point, like this is where today is because this is where it started with that exploration. So that kind of sets us off on that journey. I also like to give audiences a chance to be a part of Jose's storytelling. I mean, he was just so masterful and had such craft in exploring a human emotion and then going really deep into that. And you see it with the two pieces. You see it in Orfeo, which he made after he lost his wife. I was told that after he made it, he could no longer watch it.
Really?
So to dive deep into that work and open the program, you get like this heart-wrenching opportunity to see Jose just expose or just give in to the love he had for his wife and what it was to lose her. And then you see that with the two characters of Orpheus and Eurydice. And then following that is choreographic offering, his homage, his gift to Doris. It's this work that he made. He was inspired by 14 of Doris's works, and then he created this new work for her based on the works that she had made. So now you get to see this moment of him honoring this person who influenced him. And then we open the second half with two ecstatic themes, and then we finish with one of his greatest works, which is the Moor's Pavane. An adaptation of Othello, an abstraction of the themes from that work that really steps into so many things that we're feeling today: betrayal, racism, the power dynamic, love, loss, like all of these big feelings we get to sit with. And Jose just knows how to craftfully let you live in that world, and then walk away with something that you didn't have when you walked in.
Wow. Beautiful. So exciting. I'm so happy the audience will see these works. Amazingly, since Mary is like one of our homegrown, professional dancers who lives in Dobbs Ferry, the river towns, we try to support all of the artists that we have, and we have quite a few. Amazingly, Mary danced 3 of these dances. So Mary, if you could speak to a few of them and let us know, what your feelings were and who coached you. And
well, it's great you're doing these pieces. I love hearing how you selected them, Dante, and how the progression from Doris, because I think that's real important. But I was in choreographic offering, several different parts of it. I was Amelia. I was the friend's wife in Moor's Pavane, and I was one of the dogs. Called them, or part of the 3 heads of Cerberus that guard the gates of hell.
The guardians.
Guardians. I guess we call them the guardians.
I take such issue with calling the women who do that dogs.
No, okay. We're gonna get into some difference in culture, right? That
totally,
we in the 1990s that we could still call us the dogs.
Yeah, probably now you couldn't do that.
I
Probably
mean, you
not.
can. They
You
don't, they
can,
are.
but it's looked upon differently. I mean, we didn't, whatever. Anyway, I
Yeah.
didn't feel that was a necessary. It was all very much
Yeah,
a
it was a part of the context of the time. It
yeah.
didn't.
Well, they're, I mean, okay, I'm going to touch on them in a second. My
Yeah, well,
first
you gotta
piece
get
that
it.
I danced with the company was Choreographic Offering. And it's got a, first of all, as Dante said, it's a homage to Doris Humphrey. And I just, every time I see it, I'm like, my gosh, this was made as a gift. This was
Mhm.
made as I choke up, like a thing of gratitude. So you almost feel that whenever you're dancing it.
So I think casting is an interesting thing. And also, Dante, I wanted to just touch upon Orfeo. This casting you said will be a little gender altered somehow. Could you speak to why that is important to you?
Yeah, I can talk about when we had staged Orfeo a couple of summers ago. I hadn't had any plans to change any of the gender roles. I just we're going to cast it, and we teach the opening solo, we teach the duet between the two of them, and but everybody learns everything because all of our company members are teaching artists as well. So I want them to have as much of the material. So Logan Kruger, who's the associate artistic director and former company dancer when we were in the company together, we're sitting there watching. We're like, oh wow, that person's doing it really well. That opening solo. Oh, so well, she's doing it really well too. Are we gonna have two casts? And then we're like, oh my gosh, that person does it really. And then all of a sudden we had like three soloists that were like really fitting into that opening solo. And then we taught the duet between Orpheus and Eurydice. We're like, oh my gosh, that woman and that woman look amazing together.
Mm.
That male dancer and that non-binary dancer look amazing together. That male dancer and that female dancer look. So it's like, I think we have three casts here. Um, and I was like, I want to open that up. I want to allow that to be part of the conversation because all of these versions exist
Yeah,
today.
why
I
not?
want, yeah, I want our audience to see themselves on stage. And the same with the Guardians. Like up until now, it's been a traditionally female role, but some of my male and non-binary dancers all looked great in it. So I was like, great, you fit in the costume, you're going on stage.
Mhm.
So we ended up casting it with three different Orpheus and Eurydices. This particular cast coming to you is more traditional. I have a male Orfeo and a female Eurydice, and I have three female guardians. So it is more traditional in that sense. But that wasn't a part of um, my plan. It didn't have to be that way. Once I started seeing it, I was like, oh, well, we can open this up. It just so happened with casting and who's doing what right now, this is who's going in. But that's always an easy conversation. When we were in Vail last year, we had an injury and we had to go to non-traditional casting, and it was a male dancer and a non-binary dancer doing the two roles.
Mhm.
And nobody had anything to say about it. It seemed completely and totally natural. It didn't feel out of step. It didn't feel like we were doing anything other than continuing to bring Limon's intention to life. And that is always my thread. Does this work speak to the intention of why Jose made it? This piece is about loving someone and losing someone.
Mhm.
Was not about gender. So I feel safe in the fact that I'm able to make those choices because every time Jose would restage something, he would alter it for the dancers he was working with because he wanted those dancers to have agency and have command over the vocabulary and the rep. So I feel that I'm living in step with that.
Yeah. Yeah, very exciting.
Thank you.
Yeah. And it opens up people's eyes to the possibilities that uh, dance is transcends gender
Mhm.
sometimes.
And time, it's not fixed
Yeah.
in the moment it was created. I can certainly create historical programs and bring works to life. I did that with Lama Linche this past spring. It was the original costumes. It was even the original recording. It was everything as it was when it was made because I was making a point about creating something Jose had made when he made it
Mhm.
because he was influenced by something he saw as a young person. So I wanted to set the stage for that. But there's so much breadth and how it can live in 2025 versus how it lived in 1935.
Yeah. Yeah, I wanted to just ask one thing about the challenges. of keeping a company alive 53 some years after the founder passes. And I think that that is something that all dance companies struggle with, because we don't want it to be a museum of just works. So can you speak about, does the technique get diluted? Are you feeling that the dancers don't understand the depth as much as the former dancers that actually were lucky enough to be in the room with the choreographer?
But from the inside, I can tell you that the technique, the principles of the technique are built in intention. What is it to fall? What is it to recover? What is it to find suspension and opposition? How do you clearly define rhythm in your body? So if we use those as the pillars, then no matter what we're doing, if we're staying true to that intention, then we are staying true to the Humphrey Limón technique that was created and continues to live today. I told you most of my company are teaching artists, and they love the technique. They love living inside of these legacy works, and they love unearthing all the possibilities that these works have, from doing something completely historical to how they can live in a reimagined space. As long as we keep going back to the intention, I feel that the work stays true to what Jose wanted.
I don't necessarily know why, but I think right now, I think the company looks fabulous because of what Dante is, because you are opening up these possibilities, like the gender possibilities. How do you commit to authenticity? And when you follow the sense of finding the truth about a movement, the truth about weight, the truth about and recovering, that is your doorway into finding something authentic. So you've got this great technique based on concepts, but not on particular movements and particular bodies.
Yeah.
Bodies are very different. I mean, Jose and that generation could never do physically what this generation could do facilely. But I think the challenge we have now with younger dancers is that they're so facile that there's not the deep investigation of what it means to be human. But if you commit to that intentionality, why am I doing this? What am I doing here in this movement? Even if it's just, I've got to get down so I can come back up and there's no story, then you can start to really find the blossoming. And I've seen this particular company, because I've been watching it for a few years. Well, I mean, some changes in people really, really blossoming the last couple of years, because Dante committed to that, I think. And I think there's dancers, or enough of the dancers for sure, that I can see that have committed. And I can see that strength, that rooting that's really necessary for this work. It's not on the surface. It's not about how cool you can look at all, to me. Yeah. It's what is Sarah Stackhouse, who's one of my favorite directors, was always like, but what's the truth? Is this truthful? Is this a truthful moment in your movement? And also she'd say, once you say the truth, it could become a lie. And I was like, what does that mean? And I realized later, it was like, you always have to keep searching for it. You can never depend on, I did it and it's this way today. This way tomorrow, I did it yesterday and it's going to be the same today. Each production, each performance, each movement is a new moment.
So I have one more question, and that is about the future of the Limón Dance Company and where you might see this company in the next 10 years, let's say.
Well, you'll have to subscribe to our newsletter and follow our Instagram. I am really interested in continuing to dive deeper into the aspects of Jose that are a mystery, things we don't know about him. What else about his life impacted his dance making, and who today is making work that lives in that ethos, that is also exploring something Jose was working through. I'm attracted to many artists today. We just had a world premiere by Azure Barton, the world's acclaimed Azure Barton. And I'm also inspired by artists in their early part of the career, like Kayla Farish, who just choreographed something on us. So being able to create this international platform or living inside of this international platform we have, and then commissioning artists at different stages of their career to either get build a pathway for emerging or early career artists to build, and then celebrate like world acclaimed artists to create on this company that is such high functioning artists that they should be working at all of the levels to bring all of this work to life in new ways. And that's really what I'll be pushing for the next 80 years.
That's amazing. So, Mary, what would you like the Rivertown's audience to take away from this one night only performance?
Oh, wow. I don't know, the first thing that comes to mind is how dance can transform people, how it touches the human heart. And that he saw something about the possibility of the human heart, even though he'd seen a lot of difficulty in his life through war, through discrimination, through seeing all sorts of hard things. And his pieces show that. He even if you were talking about Judas and the traitor, well, they don't call him Judas, but the traitor, basically, or Iago, there was still a place of a little bit of a compassion of looking at this person as a human being. And not only those roles, but to see the whole human experience. And that we don't just look at art as entertainment, even a thing of beauty, but there's something deeper. I mean, it touched me that Bill T. Jones didn't get it at first, didn't get Jose's contribution, but he said he really saw something at the possibility of the human heart to change. And don't we need our human hearts to change?
Yes.
We need the world to open up to a sense of compassion for each other. And I think that was his incredible gift, as well as all of his technical artistry and his creation of these incredible works.
I think that the Tarrytown Music Hall performance is going to reinforce the simplicity of and the desire to open up and understand our human hearts and our connections to each other. We've been so torn apart that I really feel like this performance will sort of create a community of people who really want simplicity and purity and the truth. And that over and over again, dance is the way that you can access this, because when you watch it, it's so immediate, it's so honest, it's so alive, and it's just incredible. I mean, we love it. So we want to share it, and everyone needs to come and see this performance on September 20th.
My name's Dante Puleio, Artistic Director of Limón Dance Company, and I implore you to come to our performance, and we cannot wait to see you there.